Hi all. Hi all, Nadine here. So, today we're going to be listening to Macbeth, Act 1 and 2. It'll be about an hour. Just gonna wait a few minutes, see if anybody comes by. Um, and I am going to be working on this. It is a cross-stitch pattern that I got some years ago, and it's when I thought I was getting married, but I didn't end up getting married, and so I still need to finish it, because as some of you know, I'm going to eventually get married. So, yeah. So I'm just going to be working on that, and we'll be listening to Macbeth. Who do I have watching? Who's here? Is that you, Cap? Well, you would have said hi if it was you already. Could be just me. I don't know. We'll see. And we'll just wait around for a moment to see if anybody comes by. And see about getting that going. So yeah, this is basically what I'm working on. Like I said, it's it's quite a large picture. I wonder if Cap's gonna be here. Cap was here. I wonder if Cap's gonna be here. So I guess we'll just start her up and we'll see if anybody else comes by. Well, I'm just gonna tweet her it out, I guess. Let's see. Let's see here. And and let's see, who else? Cap. A, B, C, D, Cap. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I know I am live. And yeah, so this is, like I said, this is what I'll be working on. Let's see, that's not very focused, is it? That's a bit better. I've never ever tried to do this with a like this before. So we'll see how well it goes. Is that better? I think so. I think so. I think that's better. And, yeah. Okay, I guess we're sticking around enough. Oh, look, we got a few more watchers. Look at that. I think Cap and Josiah might have just showed up. Is it? Oh, Hans came. Hi, Hans. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to show up, and we'll see about starting in a minute here. Where is it? This I did. I tweeted it. This is what I'm working on today. So, as you know, I bought this years ago to give to my mom when I thought I was getting married. But then, of course, that didn't happen. And this is what I've got going on. Hey, they! And so this is just what I'm working on while I listen to Macbeth, and I hope you guys can enjoy. So yeah, this is what I'm going to finish up. So since a couple of people are here, I'll start up Macbeth and get this party started.
The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae.
Duncan, King of Scotland. Read by Joshua Christensen.
Malcolm, son of Duncan. Read by M.B.
Donalbain, son of Duncan. Read by Ellis Christoph.
Macbeth, General of the King's Army, played by Mark Smith of Simpsonville, South Carolina.
Banquo, General of the King's Army, read by Simon Lawbar.
Macduff, Nobleman of Scotland, read by John Leader, Bloomington, Illinois.
Lennox, Nobleman of Scotland, read by Adnan Mirza, Pakistan.
Ross, Nobleman of Scotland, played by Rosalind Wills.
Menteith, Nobleman of Scotland, read by David Lawrence, Brampton, Ontario.
Angus, Nobleman of Scotland, read by Ross Clement.
Caithness, a Nobleman of Scotland, read by David Nichol.
Fleance, the son of Banquo, read by Aaron Elliott, St. Louis, Missouri.
Seward, Earl of Northumberland, read by Brian Edwards.
Young Seward, Seward's son, read by Laurie Ann Walden.
Satan, an officer attending upon Macbeth, read by Paul Williams.
Son of Macduff, read by David Lawrence, Brampton, Ontario.
Lady Macbeth, read by Elizabeth Klett.
Lady Macduff, read by L.C.
Hecate, read by Ruth Golding.
First Witch, recorded by Jennifer Stearns, Concord, New Hampshire.
Second Witch, read by Kristen Hughes.
Third Witch, read by Charlene V. Smith.
Doctor, read by Eric M. Johnson.
Gentlewoman attending on Lady Macbeth, read by Laurie Ann Walden.
The Attendant and the Servant, read by Anna Simon.
Lords, read by David Nichol.
An Old Man, read by Paul Williams.
The Porter, read by David Leeson.
First Apparition, read by David Lawrence, Brampton, Ontario.
Second Apparition, read by Ross Clement.
Third Apparition, read by Finn Jameson.
First Murderer, Hevid.
Second Murder, read by Anna Roberts. Third Murderer, read by Ross Clement.
Messenger, by Iswa, Belgium.
The Soldier and the Sergeants, read by David Nichol.
End of Dramatis Personae. Act 1 of The Tragedy of Macbeth. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1. A desert place. Thunder and lightning. Enter 3 witches.
When shall we 3 meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grimalkin.
Paddock calls.
Anon.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair, hover through the fog and filthy air.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 2. A camp near Forres. Alarm within. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox, with attendants, meeting a bleeding sergeant.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the newest state.
This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought gainst my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as 2 spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, thought that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallow-glasses is supplied, and fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak, for brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune, with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like valour's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands, nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seems to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark! No sooner justice had with valour armed compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norweyan lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows eagles, or the hare the lion, if I so sooth. I must report, they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. But I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honour both. Go, get him surgeons.
Exit sergeant attended.
Who comes here?
Enter Ross.
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look, that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norweyan banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious, arm against arm, curving his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness!
That now Sveno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men till he disbursed at St. Colm's Inch $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 3. A heath near Forres. Thunder. Enter the 3 witches.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I, a roin to thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the Tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou'rt kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know. I the shipman's card. I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Weary 7 nights 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest-tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb. Wrecked as homeward he did come.
Drum within.
A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up.
Enter Macbeth and Banquo.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How farest called to Fours? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on't? Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me by each at once her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time, and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak them to me, who neither beg nor fear your favours nor your hate.
Hail.
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 Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
Witches vanish.
The earth hath bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too. Went it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's here?
Enter Ross and Angus.
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, and viewing o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norweyan ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
who was the Thane, lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose, whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he laboured in his country's wreck, I know not, but treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Aside.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind.
To Ross and Angus.
Thanks for your pains.
To Banquo.
Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Aside.
2 truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen.
Aside.
This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's rapt.
Aside.
If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New horrors come upon him, like our strange garments, cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use.
Aside.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favour. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 4. Forres, the Palace. Flourish. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox, and attendants.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust.
Enter Macbeth, Banquo, Ross, and Angus.
O worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now is heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe, in doing it, pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state children and servants, which do but what they should, by doing everything safe toward your love and honour.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labour to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, thou hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know, we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honour must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labour, which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
Aside.
The Prince of Cumberland, that is a step on which I must fall down, or else sore leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires, let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
Exit.
True, worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
Flourish. Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 5. Inverness, Macbeth's castle. Enter Lady Macbeth, reading a letter.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whiles I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with "Hail, King that shalt be." This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing, by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have, great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wished should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal.
Enter a messenger.
What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who wert so would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news.
Exit messenger.
The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts, and take my milk, for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark, to cry, hold, hold!
Enter Macbeth.
Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter, Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favour ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 6. Before Macbeth's castle. Hautboys and torches. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Banquo, Lennox, Macduff, Ross, Angus, and attendants.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet, does approve by his loved mansionry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle. Where they most breed and haunt, I have observed, the air is delicate.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
See our honoured hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God ild us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point, twice done, and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honours deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels, and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath holp him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves and what is theirs, in compt, to make their audit to your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 7. Macbeth's castle. Hautboys and torches. Enter a sewer, and divers servants with dishes and service, and pass over the stage. Then enter Macbeth.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could travel up the consequence, and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we'll jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued, against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked new-born babe, striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
How now? What news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat to the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast wast then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now doth unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail?
We fail? But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince, that memory, the water of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only, when in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received, when we have marked with blood these sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers, that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Exeunt. End of Act 1 of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 2 of The Tragedy of Macbeth. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 2, Scene 1. Court of Macbeth's Castle. Enter Banquo, and Fleance bearing a torch before him.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose.
Enter Macbeth and a servant with a torch.
Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir, not yet at rest? The king's abed, he hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect. What else should free have wrought?
All's well. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honour for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear. I shall be counselled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir, the like to you.
Exeunt Banquo and Fleance.
Go bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed.
Exit Servant.
Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace. With Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear the very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time, which now suits with it. Whiles I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives.
A bell rings.
I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Exit. Act 2, Scene 2, the same. Enter Lady Macbeth.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace! It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sterns good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them whether they live or die.
Within.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I am afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss 'em. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it.
Enter Macbeth.
My husband!
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
I.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
Looking on his hands.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried, Murder! That they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and Amen, the other. As they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear, I could not say Amen when they did say, God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce Amen? I had most need of blessing, and Amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, Sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the ravelled sleeve of care. The death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more, to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? My worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on it again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are as but pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Exit. Knocking within.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me, when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Ha! They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas in Incarnadine, making the green one red.
Re-enter Lady Macbeth.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white.
Knocking within.
I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended.
Knocking within.
Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself.
Knocking within.
Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 3, the same. Knocking within. Enter a porter.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hell Gate, he should have old turning the key.
Knocking within.
Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins to know about you. Here you'll sweat for it.
Knocking within.
Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith, here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator.
Knocking within.
Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor, come hither, for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor, here you may roast your goose.
Knocking within.
Knock, knock, never a quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire.
Knocking within.
Anon, I pray you remember the porter.
Opens the gate. Enter Macduff and Lennox.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him, makes him stand to, and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep, and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir. It in the very throat on me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think, being too strong for him, though he took up my legs sometimes, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring?
Enter Macbeth.
Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Exit.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly where we lay. Our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard I, the air strange screams of death, and prophesying with accent terrible of dire compunction and confused events, new hashed to the awful time. The obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Re-enter Macduff.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the building.
What is it you say? The life?
Mean you his majesty?
Approach the chamber, and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves.
Exeunt Macbeth and Lennox.
Awake! Awake! Ring the alarum bell! Murder and treason! Banquo and Donalbain! Malcolm, awake! Shake off this drowsy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself! Up, up, and see the great doom's image! Malcolm! Banquo! As from your graves rise up, and walk like sprites to countenance this horror! Ring the bell!
Bell rings. Enter Lady Macbeth.
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak, speak!
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell.
Enter Banquo.
Oh, Banquo, Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Woe, alas! What, in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee contradict thyself, and say it is not so.
Re-enter Macbeth and Lennox with Ross.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left this vault to brag of.
Enter Malcolm and Donalbain.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were embashed with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, tempered, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition my violent love outrun the pauser, reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known?
Help me hence, ho!
Look to the lady.
Aside to Donalbain.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours?
Aside to Malcolm.
What should be spoken here, where our fate hid in an auger hole may rush and seize us? Let's away, our tears are not yet brewed.
Aside to Donalbain.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady.
Lady Macbeth is carried out.
And when we have our naked frailties hid that suffer an exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretence I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness, and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
Exeunt, all but Malcolm and Donalbain.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland, I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there is daggers in men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 4. Outside Macbeth's castle. Enter Ross and an old man.
70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act threaten his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is night's predominance, or the day's shame that darkness doth the face of earth entomb, when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon towering in her pride of place was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon't. Here comes the good Macduff.
Enter Macduff.
How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
It's known who did this more than bloody deed.
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas the day, what good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's 2 sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
'Gainst nature still, thriftless ambition that wilt raven up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named, and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Comakill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors, and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with ye, and with those that would make good of bad, and friends of foes.
Exeunt. End of Act 2 of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare.
Hello. So we're all done
for today. On Sunday we'll be doing Acts 3 to 5, and that'll be around an hour long. Hands, the my first play, or my first audiobook that I picked to do since I had no viewers, was Dante's Inferno. Oh my goodness, it was long and Dante's Divine Comedy, and I did all of the parts, so it took forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, but that was the first audiobooks I did, and I was streaming for hours a couple times just to get it done. But yeah, Josiah, I really hope Mom likes this. It's gonna be it's gonna take me a while because I don't have much done. There's a little bit done on this side, but I don't have a whole lot done yet. So hopefully I'll get it done in time. I'm sure things won't go that fast, but it'll get done. So yeah, it looks like Dawn is streaming. So if you guys want to head over there, oops. Magic Sky Project, wish you were here. Oh, it was just it's not a stream, it's just a video. But yeah, Dawn's over there, or Dawn put up a new video. I think that's should be the link. So otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. If you have any questions, though, I'd like to hear it. Thank you for requesting a couple of books, or a book anyway, Hans and Iowan. Like I said, we've got Macbeth to finish off, Much Ado About Nothing, Romeo and Juliet, and then Ernest, The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde, and Peer Gynt by Henrik Ibsen, something like that. Anyway, I'm sorry I butchered that name, Hans. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you later. Love yous. Bye.